Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Akbar Taufiqul Hakim. And this occasion, I will to explain about my paper. The title of the paper is Effectiveness of State-Owned Property Administration Policy Towards Good Governance Principle in Indonesia. Okay. From the background first, I will explain it. The management result of BMN is one of the sources of non-tax state revenue, which is by the law of the Republic of Indonesia number 9 of 2018 concerning non-tax state revenue, Article 4, paragraph 1, which reads PNBP objects as referred to in Article 3 include utilization of natural resources, service, management of separated state assets, and state property management, fund management, and other state rights. The government is obligated to safeguard BMN, which includes physical security. Administrative security requires an administration system that can create a control. Of a BMN as a control tool, this administration system must also be able to meet the needs of government management in government management planning. Therefore, the importance of bureaucratic reform is to strengthen security in BMN from people who want to use it for themselves, and also to be better manage BMN administration. BMN conditions have not been properly inventoried according to current regulation at ministries, state agencies, becoming a target in the structure of control of BMN. The direction of the countermeasures, BMN inventory and assessment, is how the management assets, the state assets in its user of goods becomes more responsible and transparent so that the state assets can be optimized. Optimized for use and used to support service function for the community or stakeholders to assist in the smooth implementation of the main task and functions of the service, and to allow budget agencies to use assets to contribute revenues to state. Basically, bureaucratic reform is an effort to carry out reforms and fundamental change to the government administration system. The launching of these reforms and change, it tended to increase the professionalism of the state's apparatus. In terms of governance, and the same time bring important change in the management of regional finances. The success of regional financial management has a direct impact on the success of regional autonomy and major contribution in the effort to realize good governance, both centrally and the regions, to welcome the success of the development in other fields. Bureaucratic reform and governance have become the top priority scale from the government by referring to Law Number 17 of the 2007 concerning the 2005 until 2025 long-term national development plan. If the country is good and reliable, an important process is needed, which is to carry out the process of managing the BMN to achieve the goal good governance in the implementation of public administration reform. It is necessary to implement the procedures of our ministers and institution in this institution or district to plan the assets of the state. With structured and systematic reform of the bureaucracy, government institution will seek to revise and develop various policies and management practices of central and regional governments by adjusting the duties and function of government agencies with new paradigms and roles. There is a change in the new paradigm in the bureaucracy that can be seen in the management of BMN, which is marked by the issuance of government regulation number 27 of 2014 and renewed again by government regulation number 28 of 2020 concerning the management of state or regional property. In this way, this will create a new optimism in structuring and managing state assets. They are more orderly, accountable, and transparent. Moreover, by promoting good governance, and it is hope that it will be able to increase the confidence in the management of state finances from the community. In this paper, I formulate the problem formulation from the paper which I've described. The formulation of the problem can be drawn as follows: such as how big is the level of effectiveness of BMN management factors and the problem how effective is the administrative policy of managing said property from existing variable factors. Then we had to the discussion. The BMN is for assets classified as fixed assets, namely tangible assets that have a useful life of more than 12 months for use or are intended for use in government activities or utilized by the general public. Fixed assets that are target of BMN revaluation are land, buildings, roads, irrigation, and network. The BMN revaluation program includes at least the following activities. That is initial data provision, inventory assessment, follow-up, and the result of inventory assessment, monitoring, and evaluation. The BMN revaluation program was implemented in 2017 and 18. There's a circular letter from the Directorate General of State Assets of the Ministry of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia, number 274 PUA4 PL 0707 2020 concerning follow-up improvement in the implementation of reassessment of state property of BMN 2017 and 2019 in the year of 2020. The policy of administering state-owned good in a policy made to create good governance, to see whether a government agency is healthy or not. It cannot only be seen from its physical condition. For example, seen from a building, the building of expansion. The most important factor in being able to see the development and agency lies in the administration of state-owned goods or assets it owns. PMN or assets owned by a government agency are integral part of administration and accountability. Administration of state property is included in the scope of state finance, which demands accountability and transparency. Based on the regulation of Minister of Finance number 120 PMK 06 and 2007 concerning administration of state property. It is obligatory to carry out the implementation of PMN administration in this regulation in the Minister of Finance. The implementation of BMN administration is obliged to carry out a bookkeeping, inventory reporting, and must be guided by government agencies. The implementation of the principle of good governance is aimed at realizing an orderly administration of BMN management in determining of state use, utilization, deletion, and transfer of state property effective and efficiently by adhering to principle that do not harm state's finance and by the provision of the prevailing laws and regulation. This implementation is related to implementation of BMN management based on compliance with applicable laws and regulation, transparency in implementation and disclose of BMN management, effectiveness and efficiency in the implementation of BMN management starting from planning, implementing, reporting, and monitoring BMN management. Accountability of BMN management in the implementation of BMN management starting from planning and implementation of BMN management based on a more systematic and logical approach in budgeting maintenance expenditures or capital expenditures to replace it, or add to existing fixed assets in the next year. Optimizing of the utilization for state set reveal that main objective to be achieved in the asset management process are one, accurate and correct information is presented about the actual condition assets, including legal, physical value, tax, and asset attributes and others. This information will then be processed, and the result will be recommended for more efficient asset utilization strategy, achieve administration, or the managing asset data, recording, adding, change, and deleting include that. Spotting tools are achieved to facilitate the decision-making process, especially in the implementation of assets utilization and optimization. Based on this opinion, the ultimate goal of assets management is to optimize the use of estate assets. And for the last words, and the conclusion is to be accountable. The important roles of concurrent BMN, which I explained earlier, we all hope that it will be able to provide an overview of the current state of the value of all the state assets, including those of state budget or other legitimate sources of revenue, as well as the availability of the comprehensive BMD database. Accuracy can be realized immediately in logistics cycle. The first step of the asset management process is requirement planning and budgeting. In the future, the BMN database will play a strategic role in every asset manager national commodity demand planning decision and proposed budgeting allocation in APBN. There will be a synergetic relationship between a budget planner or DGA and a commodity manager or DGKN to set a table to build and determine the expected quantity of home assets needs. Considered in the fiscal year so that the physical capital expenditure budget can be more accountable and reflects all real needs depending on the site condition, tangible goods or assets can generate effectiveness, efficiency, and targeting capital expenditure budget not only an incremental characteristic but also an excellent planning and budgeting process is integrated with accurate and reliable BMN database is the source of national assets or logistics cycle and will be a starting point to improve the overall management. Uh, Thank you and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.